When the Civil War ended in 1865, the United States stood victorious, but deeply broken. The Union was preserved, slavery was abolished, and 4 million formerly enslaved people were suddenly free. Yet freedom alone did not guarantee equality or safety. The period that followed, known as Reconstruction, was meant to rebuild the South and redefine American democracy. Instead, it became one of the greatest missed opportunities in the nation's history. Reconstruction began under President Abraham Lincoln, who believed the defeated Southern states should be welcomed back quickly and generously. His plan required only a small percentage of Southern voters to swear loyalty to the Union. Lincoln hoped mercy would heal the nation. But his assassination in April 1865 placed Reconstruction in the hands of Andrew Johnson, a man whose views would soon cripple the process. Johnson, though loyal to the Union, held deeply racist beliefs. He granted broad pardons to former Confederate leaders and allowed Southern states to form new governments with little oversight. Almost immediately, these governments passed black codes, laws designed to control and exploit freed African Americans. These laws restricted movement, limited employment options, and imposed harsh punishments, making freedom feel frighteningly close to slavery. Alarmed by these developments, Republicans in Congress, known as Radical Republicans, fought back. They believed Reconstruction should transform Southern society, not simply restore it. Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and proposed the 14th Amendment, guaranteeing citizenship and equal protection under the law. When Johnson vetoed these measures, Congress overrode him, setting the stage for a fierce political battle. In 1867, Congress took control of Reconstruction. The South was divided into military districts, and federal troops were sent to protect the rights of freed people. African American men were granted the right to vote, and for the first time in American history, black citizens were elected to state legislatures and even to Congress. Schools were built, public institutions expanded, and the promise of a more just democracy briefly seemed possible. But this progress triggered violent resistance. White supremacist groups like the Ku Klux Klan emerged to terrorize black communities and intimidate voters. Lynchings, beatings, and assassinations became tools of political control. Though Congress passed the Enforcement Acts to suppress such violence, enforcement was uneven and often weak. Many Northerners grew weary of the constant conflict. Economic realities also undermined Reconstruction. Freed people were promised 40 acres and a mule, but the land was never delivered. Instead, many were trapped in sharecropping, a system that kept them in debt and dependence on white landowners. Outlander capital, economic freedom remained out of reach. Political will in the North continued to fade. The Panic of 1873 caused a severe economic depression, shifting attention away from Southern reform. Corruption scandals within the federal government further damaged public trust. Reconstruction increasingly came to be seen as a failure rather than a moral necessity. The final blow came with the disputed presidential election of 1876. To resolve the crisis, Republican Rutherford B. Hayes agreed to withdraw federal troops from the South in exchange for the presidency. This compromise of 1877 effectively ended Reconstruction. Without federal protection, Southern white elites quickly regained full control. What followed was a harsh reversal of progress. Southern states enacted Jim Crow laws enforcing racial segregation. Poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation stripped black citizens of their voting rights. Violence went largely unpunished. The rights guaranteed by the Constitution existed on paper, but not in daily life. Reconstruction failed not because it was impossible, but because it was abandoned. The federal government chose reconciliation over justice and political convenience over equality. The opportunity to build a truly multiracial democracy was lost, leaving wounds that would shape American society for generations. The legacy of Reconstruction is a reminder that freedom without protection is fragile and that democracy requires not just laws, but the will to enforce them.